we've created another sequence and called it Multicam Sequence. And our current goal is to basically nest the sync sequence into the Multicam sequence by selecting it in the project window and dragging it into the video 1 track at the beginning of that track. Okay, to create a multicam track, the process requires that you right-click on the clip in the timeline and choose Multi-Camera Enable. Now we can go to our multicam monitor in the upper right-hand corner fly-up menu of the program monitor and choose Multicam Monitor, which is at the very top there. So welcome to the Multicam Monitor. What this will give us is the ability to preview all 4 of our tracks as they are nested into the multicam sequence, and simultaneously on the right you'll see the currently chosen first angle as a preview on the right. So for example, let's just queue up to that sync point that we just created, and what we should get is a flash in all 4 of those monitors. And there it is. Okay, so our current goal is to start to multicam edit. In other words, we're going to use the preview of all 4 of these reference clips on the left-hand side, and through selection of them one at a time with our mouse, or the keyboard shortcut of 1, 2, 3, and 4 in clockwise order, we can select what is currently the output in the monitor on the right. Before we begin multi-camera editing, though, let's do a couple setup things in the fly-up menu of this monitor. We'll go ahead and select the fly-up menu, and we're going to make sure that we have deselected audio follows video. That's because we have 4 different audio channels that we do not actually want to follow our video. We only want to use a single audio channel. The second thing is show preview monitor, which we can choose if we want to keep that preview monitor, but it's not crucial. I'm going to leave that selected. An important thing to know about multi-camera is that it requires a fast computer. In this case, we're assigning an external drive as the scratch disk, which you can do too, or just make sure that you do have a fast enough drive assigned in your scratch disk by going to the preferences for this program. The other thing that's going to happen is before we actually record, we'll have to render the sequence, and there will be some waiting time in that process. The minute I begin to play, I'll have to wait for that entire sequence to render. Okay, so again, the shortcuts on the keyboard are spacebar to play, and I can also stop with the spacebar as well. And 1, 2, 3, and 4 call up 1 as in the upper left-hand corner, 2 the upper right-hand corner, 3 the bottom left-hand corner, and 4 the lower right-hand corner. So let's play through a little bit further so we can actually, with the spacebar, so we can actually get to a point where we'll see all 4 of the pictures, and we'll also be able to see that flash happen simultaneously. And that'll be a nice indication to us that we sync things properly. And there it goes. And I can also use the left and right arrows to move back frame by frame. Let's actually take a closer look at that. There it is, that flash. I wanted to actually see it. It happened so fast. Okay, spacebar to start. And I can also use my mouse to select the camera angles as well. And that may be easier for you. But notice the first time I select one, I've begun to record. Okay, so currently I've begun to record in angle 1, which is the upper left-hand corner, and I can now just move around. I'm now recording angle 2, and I'm now recording angle 4 by hitting 4 on the keyboard, etc. And if I want to stop, again, I can hit my spacebar and I can be in pause mode. So just to show you, I'll move this out of the way. You can see that so far my sequence has picked up those several camera angle shifts in the editing process. And so let's continue hitting the spacebar. And I'll just switch to... Okay, so notice as I hit the spacebar, I'm only playing. I haven't actually gone to record anything yet. So I'm actually going to go back So as you can see, this is an ongoing editing process. You don't need to have it all perfect, and you can also go back and edit your decisions. So I'm going to basically record and play. And I'm hitting 2 on the keyboard. Four. One. And at this point, I'm just using the beat of the music to kind of create my shift rhythm, because the angles are mostly the same. And now we have a nice zoom in, so I'm going to switch to 2. That's 4. And 1. And I'll pause for just a moment. So depending on what kind of footage that you're working with, in this case I'm working with a symphony, so I may be both listening for a specific instrument and looking for a zoom in on the musician playing that instrument, or I may be listening for a particular moment in the music and match kind of the rhythm of the angle. So the other thing you want to think about, though, is that does not have to be a perfect edit. I recommend that you kind of fine-tune this in the timeline, and we'll point to how to do that after we finish this process. So let's just continue to practice this as a kind of a demonstration. So once I go back to play, the minute I select a different angle, it's going to automatically record. The shortcut for record on the keyboard is 0. So this time I'm just going to use my mouse and select it. And in some ways this is actually maybe a more direct or immediate way of making selections. And I'm also, in this point, looking for when the camera's zooming in on musicians just before they're getting ready to play, and then selecting them. And kind of taking advantage of the beat of the music. And we'll go to 1. Made a mistake, but I'll fix that in the timeline. 2. Okay, great. So let's close out of multi-camera monitor. So now that we're finished with editing in the multi-camera monitor, let's talk about how to edit specifically a multi-camera sequence.